Okay, so today's subject is ramp up and ramp down. This is follow on to our new product sessions we had this week. Product service ramp up or ramp down strategies. So ramp up, time to market with a new product is critical. Competitive advantage for a company, but is a critical competitive advantage for a company, but time to market depends on time to volume or ramp up. Ramp up is the period during which manufacturing processes make the transition from zero to full-scale production at targeted levels of cost and quality. So yeah, you can get to full-scale production if you let quality go, but that's not what you want to do. Sales projections are critical to achieve effective ramp up, and this is where PACCAR struggles a lot, getting accurate or somewhat accurate sales projections on a new truck. Poor forecasting can lead to involuntary downtimes as suppliers cannot supply enough of the critical components. That's if your forecast is too low. If it's too high, the suppliers are going to get upset with you because they've got a bunch of product they can't do anything with. So here's the product life cycle again from ISM, their version of it. Pre-commercialization, develop the specs, introduction, monitor quality and correct problems. Growth, what you want to worry about during growth is continuity of supply. And in maturity, suppliers manage inventory. So you go from managing the inventory here in your plant to having the supplier manage the inventory in your plant in the maturity phase. And then the decline, you outsource, find other solutions. Here's a little Venn diagram for you. So you got external inputs to new product development, customers, technology, suppliers. Then you got internal inputs, stakeholders, mission and vision of the company, the body of knowledge, the company strategy, and the current product lines of the company. So where these two intersect, you get the new product development process. Produces some design specs and then forms design, cross-functional design teams. So as production moves from pilot to volume production, cooperation among people and departments is critical. So a cross-functional team works best. So this is assuming that you're moving into production. You need a healthy, well, you get a design team started out with maybe engineering, purchasing, and quality to begin with. But then you have to start getting in a bunch of other people, finance and production and a whole bunch of other people once you go to ramp up. Inputs to the production, delivery, and staffing plan. So this is in your plant. And you got senior management, operations, equipment capacities, workforce capacity, etc., marketing, accounting, and finance. This is the expansion of your cross-functional team. Human resources, product design team, which is usually engineering, logistics, and then purchasing, supply management. Operations capacity and capabilities. So operations flexibility and response time. Ramp up is characterized by high variability and uncertainty with conflicts in managing short cycle times. Fast throughput increases. Yeah, because the forecast is always going to be wrong. Flexibility can be achieved through computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacturing, along with design for manufacturing and aggregate project planning. And we use all of that. Equipment and labor capabilities, skilled labor and production engineers is required to undertake rapid problem solving and to build knowledge of the process and improve yields. So as you ramp up, you get better at making the product. Equipment needs to be delivered, hooked up, aligned with the right process, etc. Then you got to look at supply chain readiness, logistics, distribution capabilities, efficient logistics are necessary to ensure the product line does not run out of parts. So yeah, you got to get the parts to your plant. Rapid, flexible logistics can also keep you on schedule. And lead time and inventory planning. Ramp up is ensuring the supply chain maintains pace with the volume growth. Especially if it's ramping up fast, companies may need to continue sourcing from existing suppliers with longer lead times to meet planned inventory levels, which means, somebody needs to be on the hook for forecasting a lot of inventory. Supplier capability capacity analysis. So suppliers are typically, or the new innovative ones are typically small, have limited production capacity. Some cases, the buyer may represent 50%, which you don't want to do unless you have to. Generally, what Packard tries to be is between 5% of the company's revenue, but no more than 33%. So between 5 and 33%. We do have suppliers where we're 50 to 80%, but if that supplier has problems, we're going to have problems too. Buyers need to keep in mind the commercial issues of capacity and ramp up. Tooling, tooling can be expensive, and once you make decisions on it, you're stuck with it. Invest too little in tooling can have a high opportunity cost. So injection molded tools are pretty typical in this area where they cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, but they last a long time. They give you a good part. Whereas you can do some other techniques that in tooling is much cheaper, but the part isn't as good. And a decision to invest too much tooling can significantly increase the cost of the product. This is what happens to us on a number of injection molded parts on very low volume trucks. Prototype qualification refers to building and verifying the product. This is what PPAP is all about. Did they build it to the print? Critical for meeting long-term cost and performance targets. Okay, before we get into this, I will put this in the chat, but I kind of found this out on the web. If you're running around in your supplier and you want to do a quick calculation on production capacity for a particular part, you can run through here and fill in these salmon colored ones, and it'll kind of give you, you need $100,000, and really you can produce about 4,800 of these a year based on how long it takes to make it. And this is good too, because it'll tell you a lot of times they'll divvy up their overhead by floor space, which is usually the worst way to do it, but it's done that way a lot. Okay, go back and look at this. All right. So what is the best definition of a ramp up period when introducing a new product or service?
I think it's B, Bravo.
Yeah, the manufacturing or production process makes the transition. Yeah, I mean, that sounds right to me, because they were talking about 0 to full scale. See what these guys say. B it is. I gotta select the label here. Okay, one more. Which of the following is not a consideration in developing a ramp-up strategy for a new product? I don't really agree with this question, but I think I know what the answer is. Anybody got a guess?
I think it's C, but
Yeah, I think so too. But it's like that doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's probably what they're gonna pick.
yeah.
And C it is, because early supplier involvement would have been performed in the product development stage, not in part of the ramp-up strategy. Okay. So it's a little issue on timing. Okay. There is a case study if you want to do it. And the answer to the case study is located on the answers to these two group questions. So there's 6 questions out there. Go ahead and start working on them. Raise your hand when you get done. Otherwise, we'll go over them at 2:20. I love these double negative questions. All right, let's go over some answers here. Number one is Charlie. Product descriptions developed by sales and marketing are outside the scope of responsibility of the logistics function. Two, and this is a weird question, is Delta, because the supplier is dependent upon the buying organization, is not likely to risk that business by charging higher prices. I disagree, but okay. Three is Charlie. Operational capacity and capabilities would determine the supplier's cycle time in order to increase volumes. Four is Alpha. Revising shipping classifications would not affect needs for products and materials. Five is Bravo. Current product line is an input to new product development, but it comes in the internal, not the externals. And six is Alpha. Because the only requirement that supplier A cannot meet is the budget requirement, and the budgets can always be changed. All right. Any questions? If not, I'll talk to you on Monday. We'll cover meeting sales goals.
Sweet. Thanks, Rick.
All right. Thanks.